Hello, my name is Chris. I am born and raised in Germany, and I live approximately since 6 to 7 years in Bali. Started a long time ago with actually an army career, being educated as an engineer for geodesy, studying at what we call the University of Federal Armed Forces in Germany for around about 10 years. Then I got for another 8 years into a utilities company, so you could call it the PLN of Germany, which is where actually my IT background started. And then from the year 2000, I started working for by now the largest IT services company called Accenture for approximately 21 years. And that's the time where I developed skills around business development, market development, and obviously further got into IT. There was a point in time where I really started to enjoy my coffees and started to look into the quality. And at the same time, I moved through 6 countries and in 7 cities, and I saw different ways of brewing coffee and presenting coffee. So that was obviously a good input as well. At some point, though, I realized the complexity of coffee, and I realized at the same time that coffee can taste incredibly good. I'm not talking about the coffee from the mass coffee chains, which have another purpose. So we're talking about the specialty coffee world now. And that piqued my interest, created over time passion. In terms of growing coffee and the resources and the weather and the climate and everything which is available in a country, Indonesia certainly deserves a place on the very top of the list. And as we all know, there are huge coffee growing areas in Java, in the north of Sumatra, where my farm is. Here in Bali, Kintamani, etc. So there's no shortage in Indonesia to grow, process, roast, brew, and consume coffee. 7 years ago, I was still living and working in Dubai. And usually, when I had time for vacation, I would fly west, like places like Florida, where I lived and worked before. And then there was a point in time where I said, enough, I want to go east. So I opened the weather map. It was June. I opened the weather map, and everywhere I looked, Vietnam was of interest, Korea was of interest, Philippines was of interest. Everywhere I looked, guess what? It was raining, just not in Bali. Up to today, we self-financed all of it, and I hope I can continue to keep it that way, because obviously there's some more investment ahead of us until this really takes off. For the first 2 years, we will still be facing a period of investments, and we started March this year. So that means 2023, I would expect the company, latest 2023, I would expect the company to become profitable. IT and digitization, and that's actually the case, and we are actually using a long list of different tools. What I would call a holistic coffee management system. In our case, we're using Cropster, which covers the entire coffee chain up to roasting intelligence. So that's a tool which actually connects my notebook, which carries that piece of a cloud-based software. Find a legal umbrella which allows me to place all my different bits and pieces of businesses underneath in a way that a foreigner like myself is able to manage, control, and own it. The second one comes a bit more from the coffee business. I would say it's the gap between the local habits and culture in coffee growing and processes versus the expectations of what I would call the specialty coffee world means in terms of quality expectations. I'm in the middle of this since a while and I still don't speak Bahasa. That's like a real issue, and I'm fully aware that I have to solve this sooner or later. We as Peach and Panda Coffee have to be realistic. Coffee is a very competitive business. We only started recently, if you look at the history of, 100 years of coffee wholesale business, we are a newcomer. At the same time, right now, we cannot and we don't want to compete with that style. It's not a judgment. For us, no frills. I will never write 10 different flavor notes on my coffee bags. Others do. We won't. I guess we want to be known for clean, simply clean, professional, beautiful coffee, and that's what we are trying to achieve. For the roasted beans, it's a mix of Instagram channel. We have a Tokopedia store here in Indonesia where we sell it domestically, and as well in our own group of friends and acquaintances and business partners. We do like single deals to customers in Singapore and elsewhere in the world. If you intend to create a business in Bali, go and set up your business professional. Don't take any legal shortcuts only because you can see others are doing it. I think the second, and that goes hand in hand with the first one, is in order to achieve that, get yourself some professional help. Like I'm using Emerhub as my business agent to help me with a very complex setup across all those business units. And lastly, I would say familiarize yourself with local habits and local culture. Don't take any of the assumptions, because assumptions are often wrong. You really have to understand how that works here, how people act and think, and how you as potentially a foreigner coming to the country can blend into that. Not only blend into that, be successful as well within that given business community. Oh yeah, there's one more, which is doing all this, don't forget to enjoy the island of gods with a lot of beautiful nature, beautiful people, beautiful sunsets. Always make sure you have some time left to enjoy Bali.